Hey fam, how's it going today? Welcome in. What if the reason that you're exhausted isn't because you're working too hard, but because you're carrying things that God never asked you to carry alone? I mean, some of you are trying to force doors open. Some of you are trying to control outcomes. Some of you are trying to figure out every step before you even take the first one. And that pressure. But today we're going to get into Proverbs. It's going to give us a completely different strategy. Not control, not panicking, not overthinking, but committing it to the Lord. And maybe today that's the hard thing. Maybe it's the word that changes everything for you. So, welcome into the Intentional Grounding Godcast, Letters to Isaiah. I'm your faith strategist, Coach Dombrowski, and I'm here to help you live out your walk, not just believe it. And today we're talking about surrender. All right. Not giving up, not becoming passive, but really learning the difference between carrying responsibility and carrying control, right? Because there's a difference. A lot of people are spiritually burned out because they've confused the two. Proverbs, it's filled with wisdom designed for everyday life, not just church life. I mean, real life, right? Work, stress, leadership, family decisions, pressure, conflict, direction. And Proverbs 16, it's well, it deeply focuses on the reality that ultimately God is the one who establishes the path. Now, this chapter, it challenges pride, right? It challenges self-dependence, the illusion that we can control everything through effort alone. And right in the middle of that wisdom comes this one powerful verse, Proverbs 16, verse 3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. So there's something powerful about because commitment means transfer. It means taking what you've been gripping tightly and placing it into God's hands, right? It sounds simple spiritually, but emotionally, that's hard, right? Because we want guarantees. We want a timeline. We want certainty. We want to know exactly how things are going to turn out, and how they're going to work before we trust God with them. Now, faith doesn't work that way. Faith says, God, I don't fully understand this season, but I trust you with it anyways, right? Some of you tonight are carrying businesses. Some of you are carrying marriages, carrying diagnosis, carrying anxiety that nobody even knows about, or carrying pressure to provide. I get that. Some of you are carrying emotional exhaustion while you're trying to smile in front of everybody else. And God is saying, why are you carrying this alone? Okay. Proverbs 16:3 doesn't say figure it all out first. It says commit it. That means your dream, right? Your fear, that next step, your future, your confusion, your healing, your ministry, your family, even. Commit it. I mean, there are people listening today who are mentally living 6 months ahead and spiritually starving in the present moment, like trying to solve tomorrow while losing your peace today. Oof. God never asked you to control the outcome, did he? He asked you to trust him with the process. And that changes everything because the process is there for a reason, right? Trust removes the pressure of pretending you are God. Some of you have been trying to carry a weight that your shoulders were never designed to hold. And it's showing up in your sleep, isn't it? It's showing up in your stress, your attitude, your emotional reactions in the burnout. It's showing up in your overthinking, like you're there, right? But mentally, you're exhausted. And the reason is because control is heavy, right? Surrender is much lighter. It's not easy, but it's a lot lighter. Let's make it practical, shall we? What does committing something to God actually look like? Like praying before reacting. It looks like obeying even when the timeline scares you. It looks like saying, God, I'll do my part faithfully, but I refuse to live consumed by fear over what I cannot control, right? Maybe for you today, it's committing to your kids. Maybe it's to your finances. Maybe it's a relationship that has been draining you emotionally, right? Maybe it's calling you from like keep doubting, right? A true calling that you keep doubting. Sorry. And some of you are waiting until you feel fearless before moving forward. But I'm telling you, courage, it isn't the absence of fear. Courage is moving while you're trusting God, right? That He's already ahead of you. So, somebody today, I get it. You're tired. You're tired. Not physically tired, but like soul kind of a tired. Right? You've been carrying that silent pressure for so long that you forgot what peace even feels like. You know what I'm saying? You wake up thinking you like you drive thinking, you lay in bed thinking, you know, and during those moments you're supposed to rest, like your mind keeps running. It's hard to shut off sometimes. Can I tell you something today? God never designed your mind to be a prison, right? You weren't created to live trapped inside constant panic over your future. And maybe today the miracle isn't that God's instantly changing your situation. Maybe the miracle is God changing the weight of what you are carrying inside. Maybe the question is not, how do I control everything? Maybe we start asking, well, how do I trust God through anything and everything? And I think that shift right there, it changes your entire spiritual, excuse me, hiccups, posture. Right? Because control says, I have to hold everything together. Faith says, God can hold me together. So, how do you make the change? First, you have to identify it. Like, identify what you've been carrying that actually belongs to God. Second, pray specifically over it instead of mentally replaying it. Third, replace the panic with obedience. You don't need to know every step, right? You just need enough faith to take the next one. Fourth, stop measuring God's faithfulness by speed. It's not how it works. Some prayers, they take time, right? Because God is building you while preparing the answer. And finally, rest, not laziness, rest. Like, because resting in God is an act of trust. So if you quit here, if you get to this moment and you just walk away, you might walk away right before that breakthrough. Well, I would hate for that to happen. Right before the clarity, right before the healing, right before that powerful restoration, right before the lesson finally makes sense. The enemy wants exhaustion to convince you that surrender is failure, but surrender to God is not weakness. It is full on wisdom. right? You know what's dangerous about it? Uh, Looking successful on the outside while falling apart on the inside. A lot of people have mastered appearing okay, right? They know how to smile publicly, like perform in public. They know how to lead publicly, but internally, they're overwhelmed. And the scary part of that is you can become so used to the stress that dysfunctions start to feel normal. That's why some people don't even recognize peace when it arrives, right? They've been living in survival mode for so long. And here, Proverbs 16:3, it reminds us that there is another way to live, right? It's not careless. It's not a passive way. It's not irresponsible, but surrendered, right? A surrendered life still works hard. You still plan, you still prepare, you show up with excellence, right? But the surrendered life stops worshiping control. And some of us today need permission to release what has been crushing us emotionally, right? You were never meant to carry the entire future on your shoulders. That job title can't save you. The paycheck, that can't save you. That relationship, it can't save you. You're overthinking, can't save you. Only God can sustain a soul under pressure. Now, the beautiful thing about this scripture is this: every person that God used, greatly used, they eventually had to surrender. Okay. Moses, David, Paul, Esther, Joseph, none of them were able to control the outcome, right? But they committed their path to God, and their obedience created their legacy. That means your surrender today may become somebody else's breakthrough tomorrow, right? Your faithfulness in the hard seasons, they may become the testimony your children remember years from now. It's true. Now, to my grandson Isaiah, buddy, one day you're going to feel pressure to having it all figured out. You're going to think that you need to have all of the answers before taking that next step. You're going to have moments and you're going to feel moments where life, it feels overwhelming and uncertain. But I want you to remember something. You don't have to carry the entire world's weight on your shoulders. There's a difference between responsibility and control. Responsible people, they show up faithfully. Controlling people try to carry what only God can handle. My little guy, that weight will crush you if you hold on to it too long. And I pray that you become the man who works hard, who loves deeply, who stays humble and trusts God when life doesn't make sense. I pray that you learn early on in life what so many people learn too late, that peace is not found in controlling life with it. And when life gets heavy, I hope you remember Proverbs 16:3. Commit it to the Lord. So, this episode, it wasn't just about stress, was it? Maybe it was about release. Maybe somebody today listening needed permission to stop trying to be everything for everybody, right? Surrender, mm, it's not weakness. It is trust, right? We learned today that God never asked us to control every outcome. He asked us to commit our ways to him faithfully. Right? We talked about releasing spiritual pressure. We talked about emotional exhaustion, overthinking. We talked about the burden of trying to carry tomorrow. Hey, your next step is a simple one. Stop gripping so tightly. Stop, just stop. Start trusting a little more deeply. So, if this message spoke to you or met you where you're at today, man, please share it with somebody who's carrying that silent pressure. Y- They may just barely be holding it together behind the scenes. And, fam, if you haven't already, I would appreciate you subscribing to this channel, turning on the notifications so you don't miss a moment where we get to have a live stream together, connect, um, dive into some messages or lean in together. I'm live 7:30 p.m. Eastern every night. Appreciate you joining me today. If this message spoke to you, please share it out with somebody. You never know who's waiting on a word of encouragement just like this. Until next time, Coach Dombrowski out. I'll be praying for you.